Welcome to the 2022 local election candidate videos, made possible by a partnership between Collin County Votes, which is an initiative of the Collin County Business Alliance, the Allen, Frisco, McKinney, and Plano Chambers of Commerce. I'm Leanne Libby with Community Impact Newspaper, and I'm excited to introduce our viewers to Tim Soto, running for Frisco ISD Place 3. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to jump in with the first question. So, not everybody understands exactly what a school board trustee's roles and responsibilities are. Can you explain to us in your own words what the role entails?
That's a loaded question. A minute and a half. It's to protect the parents' interest, protect the students' interest, and the superintendent is involved in holding the district together, and the board of trustees, which is just in the name, is to do such a thing and protect the society that feeds the school district, and that's the overall perspective that I've known it to be. Most of the definitions have changed, but that's
Oh, thank you. That's great. So, talk to us about what would your top 2 to 3 priorities be if elected?
well, I keep hearing about this teacher retention problem that the state is having, and this district is just as affected. Hearing the the Texas governor just put a commission together for the TEA to run a commission and finding out what is going on, where these teachers are going, why they're leaving, why do they come in the first place, and then why do they leave? And that was just established, and we can't wait for that. I'm sorry, we can't wait for that to take place. So that's got to be a priority. I would put a localized commission together to see what's going on. I'll do it myself. I'll just face to face means a lot uh, these to the teachers, and it's face to face with people that are vested and interested in them. And when they see that, I think they're going to stay a little bit longer than cutting and running for possibly a higher paying job, or just you know what's stressing you. Let's take the stress away. We're just humans here working, so let's see what their concerns are, and not through some third party neutral. It's like, look, let's just talk. You're a regular person who wants to have a job and be good at it and be comfortable in it and excel in it. Let's get you there. What can we do? And that's a awesome starting point. The face to face means so much to many of us, and some of us don't have the time to do it. I'll have the time to do it and make it happen. Another concern is the the loss of education because of the previous virus, and definitely attack that and see where we're at. The governor waived the reporting requirements for each of the districts for the STAR testing and all the ratings that come out. We don't have to report any of that, which is great. But we still want to know where our students are in the education in the cycle of things, and adjusting the curriculum. So, I mean, it's already stressful for the students. Let's not go from 0 to 60 and okay, well, now you're gonna have to start learning this. No, let's see where they're at and continue from there, and just keep cut our losses as far as time is concerned, and get these kids educated, and maybe throw in some programs to advance the education, fill in the gaps if it's a possibility with the curriculum. So those are two big ones that I know of. Provide some relief for the parents, and of course the teachers as well.
Well, so you sort of answered this next question, but specific to kind of how the pandemic has impacted the school district. If elected, are there specific things you would do to work to address those issues?
Yeah, we have to see what's there. Is there? It's new, but there have been problems where the schools have been shut down before, whether it's a flu outbreak or something like that, where a few days have been, you know, taken off. When there's a freeze and the schools are closed for a long time. Do you add days at the end of the year, or which most school districts do. They'll just add it to the end of the year, or do they just exempt those days and say, you know what, we're just going to eat those days, and we're not going to have to. We're going to file for an exemption, so we're going to have to provide answers for that curriculum for that time frame. Um, that's you should just have to see what's there already, and there should be some kind of contingency plan or something going on in there that they're like, hey, we got this. We shouldn't be asking this question. You shouldn't be asking me, what would you do about the losses? There should already be something in place. Um, this virus this is the only thing that's been hit in Texas for all these years. So as far as this district has been concerned, they should have had already something in place. And so no one's heard about. I haven't heard about it if there is. So there will be when I get there. That's for sure. And that obviously that'll take some collaboration with the state and seeing what programs can be implemented, what emergency plans can be done. Obviously, they'll be more prepared now, uh, but it should already been in place.
Well, so circling back to teachers for a minute. So obviously, we've heard a lot about the difficulties around attracting and retaining teachers. What are your thoughts on how to specifically address that issue?
What are these interviews at interviewing? What are the interviewing criteria for the teachers? What are the principals asking them? It's the principals that hire and keep. They're responsible for each of the schools. What are they asking them? Where are they getting the references from? Are they really like pulling into the references? Are they, what are your references? Just like any resume. Uh, it seems like the hiring the hiring committee or the hiring panels are not going that far and seeing where these potential teachers are coming from, and do they have a track record that shows consistency. Obviously, in the college age, they're going to be bouncing around, which is good. Find your place. But there's got to be some sort of like consistency in their previous career, their previous job, what they're doing, and then another thing is, um, are there questions about their high hopes and what they want to do, and be transparent with what's going to be given to them. We see the TV shows of the the teacher is so excited to go into the school, and then the kids are just like, it's like a crazy zoo in there, and they expect the teacher to worst case scenario and handle that. It's not like that here. But what are they? What are we giving them? What are we saying you're going to have? And we don't want to blindside our potential teachers. And I think that's a major factor when they get this, like, I got to deal with this. Oh man, I didn't know it'd be like this. We don't want our potential teachers to say, I didn't know it was going to be like this. We want them to say, wow, this is exactly what they said it was going to be. I'm taking it. At least they know, even if it's not so pleasant, at least they know what they're walking into, and they can better prepare themselves for the position. And
Yeah.
that'll help them stay. So
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, so next question. What would you like to see the legislature address to help support public education and Frisco ISD in the next legislative session?
oh, that's a tough one. There seems to be this invisible conflict of who's raising the children and whose responsibility it is to raise the children. Um, there's this thing of teaching morality, and uh, my child is coming home saying that the teacher says that I this is not wrong, this is okay, but yet the parents are saying, well, this is wrong, this is not okay to do. You hear about those conflicts all over the media. So we want to make sure that there's some established roles and responsibilities on both the parents and the teachers as far as teaching morality. Um, it's let's are we telling the teachers, is there going to be legislation that we should push that says, let's tell the teachers that teach the curriculum, don't teach, uh, don't celebrate your First Amendment rights. Um, there's and if you do allow that, then there's got to be accountability on what the teachers telling your child and what your child's going to come home with. It's you've seen parents are shocked by what they hear the teacher say, and it's like, well, is that in the curriculum? Well, is someone holding them accountable? So some legislation that gives that gives some transparency on the roles and responsibilities of the education system, and the parents' responsibilities. Uh, it's quite simple. Some states have a law that says it is the father's responsibility to make sure that the child um, can read and write by the age of 14. Like, that's a stat. Massachusetts had that. There's some other states in the Northeast that had similar rules. I was like, it's very old, of course, but hey, it's the parents' responsibility to, get these kids to a certain place and not put it so much on the teachers. And it's a back and forth. It's a moving target of having this harmony between who's teaching what, because
Mhm.
our society is so fast now. But some things can be established. So,
Yeah. Well, so we have two questions left. I want to make sure we get through both of them without running out of time. So, talking about diversity, obviously, we live in a very diverse area in every sense of the word. Can you talk about how important it is to incorporate diversity into decisions on the school board?
incorporating diversity, it would seem, I was diversity. I am from the East Brooklyn public school system till about the third grade, and then I received the rest of my education for grade school in Texas. Vastly different, and um, you know, diversity. You would have to be. that is a tough one. Um, what could you possibly do? Uh, to include, that would be in the materials. That would be in the simple, very very simple stories that are told to our children in the classrooms. They open the book, they see uh, they see a husband and wife. Are the husband and wife um, the same race? Are they mixed race? Are their children mixed? Um, those simple things right there um, start to introduce, like, uh, diversity, and how it's not going to be a clash of what you're used to seeing. Yeah, you're going to have culture shocks wherever you go, but let's introduce it as if it already exists and it's not a new thing of this interrelation and diversity of things, as far as demographics, diversity of income levels, diversity of health, intellect, culture, whatever. I mean, there's so many aspects of it. To try and wrangle it to its own thing might be a little impossible to do. It's like chasing your own tail, and uh, that would that would be tough to do. But if you provide an openness uh, to everything, um, because you are open to everything already. The parents are open to buying something at the store from someone who is diverse than they are. Uh, then we should allow such content and material in our education system, because it already exists. You cannot
Mhm.
hide it or deny that such a thing exists. So embrace it.
So last
I hope that
question,
answered
can
the
you tell us
question.
something about
That's a tough one.
that's okay, one more question. I want you to have time to answer this one 'cause it's a good one. So tell us something about the school district that made you excited about the future for this next generation in our community.
Oh man, that is the best question. Oh, I was waiting for that question. Oh, this is sorry, it's like freezing out here. That I was looking at what the ISD has, and I come from I graduated from the Cy-Fair ISD, very large school system, and I've seen what's there. I went to the Lone Star. I worked at the Lone Star College and took a couple of classes there in the Houston area, and I was there at sort of the beginning when it was starting to emerge as the place to be for other community colleges to come. And since I worked in the IT department, I saw other, because I would help set up the presentation sections, I saw other college communities were coming in and saying, "What are you doing? How is this working? How is this being so awesome?" And I cannot wait to get my hands on such things to help this ISD be that, be like the standard, the beacon, like the hope of other districts that it's just not working for them. And I definitely want to bring that over here to bring them in to say, hey, this is Frisco, this is where it's at. We're moving, and one of the things I'd like to include is, some programs that include emerging technology. Do any of our kids know about like Bitcoin and mining and cryptocurrency and you know, we're just like, but it's out there. It's happening. People are making gajillions on this stuff. And, hey, it might collapse, but it's an emerging technology that that we're not participating in. Um, it is this element, this culture of grasping and embracing emerging technology and using it to better our community, using it to better society, the environment, um, things like nutrition. Do our kids know what they're eating? And what about materials? When the kid opens the book, does does our student know how the book even got there? Is there a class or a program? Does anyone know how the book is selected that sits on their desk that they have to study and pass a test on and learn about and embrace and learn its philosophies or its content or its facts and science? Now, where's this coming from? Who are the authors? It's like this
Yeah.
ghost trail that no one knows about. Just ask any parent. They have no clue about such a thing. And I definitely want to make that transparent. So, because that brings the parent into the classroom, it connects them. They don't have to say, "Oh, what did you learn in school today?" Well, we know, of course, obviously there's online systems that parents can log in and see the curriculum, but how did it get there in the first place? And what if there's this growing consensus of the parents not liking what their children are being taught? Uh, where do they, where can they even possibly go to protest such a thing or provide an alternative uh,
Yep.
for the content? And the transparency is a I think that's gonna help the community reach in. And another thing is with this emergent technology, like, do we have anything for pre-med? Does that exist? No. Why not? Is there a reason why our kids are smart, right? They have to let them give them the opportunity to get some serious technical um, technical and creative
Yeah.
content in their hands. So I'm full of I just plenty of ideas that
Lots of
it's
ideas, lots of
reachable and
good ideas.
attainable.
Yep, yep. Well, so I hate to cut you off, but we're definitely out of time. Mr. Soto, thank you for joining us today and allowing the voters to hear directly from you on these important issues. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks.